Thank you all so much for clicking on this video. My name is Keela Trishan and I make videos on lifestyle, womanhood, and mental health. So if those are some things that interest you, please feel free to click on that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Okay, so today's video is going to be dealing with mental health, and I basically just wanted to talk about dealing with anxiety and stress during trying times. Obviously, right now, a lot of us are either still in quarantine or coming off of quarantine. And then there are a lot of things right now on the news that are stressors. So I just wanted to share with you guys some of the things that I do to just kind of disconnect and make sure that I'm keeping my mind as healthy as I'm trying to keep the rest of my body. What I also want to say is that I am not a licensed therapist. I am not certified. These are just things that work for me. But if you do feel like you are going through a tougher time, or if you're having thoughts of harming yourself or others, please get professional help. These are just some items, again, that I feel work for me during this time. Okay, so the first thing that I want to discuss is just, it sounds simple, but it's really not. And it's turning off the TV, logging out of social media, like giving yourself a break. There's so much information coming at us at all times. And I think it can be easy to find yourself in a rabbit hole of information. I know for me, I will typically scroll through Instagram, I'm scrolling through Facebook, and with watching the news, when you're seeing a lot of sad stories and a lot of just heartache and despair in the world, it can weigh on you. And for some people, they're able to shake it off, but I'm just not the type of person that's able to shake it off. It will stick with me. And I feel like sometimes it just really affects my mood. So what works for me is just getting my updates, because I do want to be in the know of what's going on and I want to do my part. But at the same time, I don't want my mental health to suffer because of it. So I usually will allot myself a certain amount of time to get my updates, and then I check out for the rest of the day. It's just important just to not over consume information, because again, the mind is very powerful, and what you feed it is what you put out and how you feel. So if you're taking in a lot of sadness and despair, you're gonna feel sadness. If you consume healthy content and happy content, you're gonna feel happy and healthy, So you just wanna be mindful of what type of information you're consuming. The next thing that I wanted to bring up is sticking to as much of a routine as possible. I say this because, again, a lot of us are either still in quarantine or we're kind of slowly coming off of quarantine. And I think that it's easy when you're not having to get up and go to work every day, or even if you're working from home, maybe your kids were in daycare and now they're not in daycare, or obviously going to school, now they're not going to school, so everyone's home. It's easy to kind of fall into, I don't want to say a lazy routine, because I don't think anybody's being lazy. Like this is something that a lot of us haven't gone through. So there's really no right or wrong way. But what has worked for me is to try to stick to as much of a routine as possible. It kind of keeps everything normal for me. So what I mean is getting up at least around the same time every morning, having a actual routine that I look forward to. Making sure that I'm eating the proper amounts of food, the proper types of food, things like that. When I was working, I feel like I had like a strict routine and I did kind of fall off. But once I got back into somewhat of a normal headspace as far as like getting up in the morning, I feel like I felt a lot better. So that might be something that would help you too. Okay, so the third tip that I have is to do something that you enjoy and do it often. So for me, I like to read, cook, work out, dance, like all that kind of stuff. And so I think a lot of times when we are in our routines, like when we're working and everything is so fast paced, sometimes you forget to do like your favorite things, the things that bring you joy. And it's important in times like this to just kind of disconnect sometimes and get back to doing those things that make us feel good. So even like watching your favorite show, doing something with your hands, like being creative, do something that takes your mind off of everything that's going on around you, even if it's just for, a few minutes. Like just take some time to yourself and do things that you enjoy. The fourth tip that I have is to stay in touch with your friends and family virtually. Obviously, right now, a lot of us are still social distancing. I know it's getting old, but you know, just kind of something that we're going through right now. So the good thing about going through this right now is that we do have access to a lot of technology. I had a friend actually whose birthday was in April, and she had a Zoom birthday party. And it was great because we were able to see each other. We could have drinks. It was almost like being there, but I mean, obviously, like there's nothing like physical interaction, but you got to do what you got to do right now. So I think that things like Zoom, FaceTime, duo calls, like if you can get together with your friends and family on a regular basis just to kind of connect, that might help your mental as well. You know, a lot of us are used to physical contact. We have our crew that we hang out with, but right now, while we're having to kind of just stick to the people that are at our home, sometimes things can get lonely. So just try to, you know, get creative and think outside the box when it comes to staying in touch with your friends and family so you don't go crazy. All right, number 5. So I think it's important to at least once a day, not even just for quarantine, but really you should be doing on a regular basis. Incorporate at least one self-care day a week. So self-care looks different for everybody. I know I like to get my nails done. I like to deep condition and, you know, use a nice body scrub, you know, soak in a bath, have wine, whatever. Find something that for you relaxes you and do that, and make sure that you do it at least once a week. We all deserve that. A lot of us are, you know, caring for other people or, you know, working our normal jobs. And sometimes I think we get lost in translation. So you got to remember that if you are not at your best, then you're not going to perform your best and you're not going to be the best for other people. So take care of yourself. Take a day every week to just appreciate yourself and do the things that you love to pamper yourself. Number 6. This is important because I think sometimes we get into, we fall into a trap of, you know, constant complaining and constant, just kind of concentrating on the negative. And I'm not knocking anyone because I know that for some people talking about it is a stress reliever, but you have to understand too that you're not obligated to discuss stressful topics with people just because they bring it up. There's a nice way to just say, you know, hey, I can't do this right now. Or, you know, I'd love to talk to you, but, you know, give me a day or give me some time. We can talk about it this time. Don't feel obligated to talk about things that stress you out or make you unhappy just because someone brings it up. Just love yourself enough to say, hey, you know, I don't have the mental capacity to do this right now. And your friends and family, I feel like the ones that really, you know, care about you and respect you will understand that. And it could kind of just become a mutual thing that you guys do. Check on people and see if they have the mental capacity to talk about whatever you want to talk about before you kind of lay it on them. Okay, so the last tip, or the last, I don't even know if I consider it a tip, but just something to remember. Remember that however you're feeling, whether that be extremely happy, whether that be extremely hopeful, whether that be sad, depressed, it's all normal. We're going through some tough times, and I think that it's important to just be kind to yourself. Figure out how to navigate where you're at right now. There's a lot of people that have lost their jobs. There's a lot of people that are doing, people with small kids, for example. You're working from home, you're having to take care of your kids. Like, you're doing things that you wouldn't normally do. Everybody's lives are just kind of in disarray right now. So whatever you're feeling is normal. Just be mindful of how you're feeling. And if you feel like you need to seek help, seek help. So I do hope that these tips helped you guys. Again, these are some things that have worked for me. I tend to get into my feelings. I tend to overconsume. And sometimes I have to just take a step back, regroup, and I do these things so again I can protect my mental health and just be the best for everybody around me and myself. So with that being said, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you like this type of content, please click the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. Don't forget to comment below if you have any other tips, anything that you're doing during this time to just kind of stay sane and stay happy and healthy. I would love to hear it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.